Watchers, welcome to Perth Watch, your horology channel, broadcasting from right here in Perth, Western Australia. Today I have a second piece from Audaz Watches. Interesting little company. The first watch I reviewed a while back, it was the Audaz Orange Monster. Check out that video if you want to hear a little bit about the introduction to the company. This is the second piece they have sent me, and it comes in, again, their typical kind of rugged travel case, which I kind of appreciate. So without further ado, let's flip it around and take a closer look at today's piece. Alright guys, so we got the package on the table here. So this kind of travel pouch is pretty cool, you know, it's practical. You can actually reuse it in a real way, you know, for example, putting watches in your suitcase when you travel. And they do actually spin pretty well, despite the fact that this is a pretty rough surface. So spin score at least 4 out of 5 here. So let's just get this open, you know, nice and rugged. Right, it's packed with foam here to protect the watch, and then underneath here, I just want to quickly show you, well, it's got some desiccant powder, but some basic instructions. Okay, most of us don't really, you know, need to look at these things, but just gonna kind of show it to you guys for reference, and you can pause it and look at this if you wish. Okay, I'm just gonna show you what they actually show. Okay, and then a warranty card, which of course for me is not filled, and that's really it. That's what you get in the packaging. Let's just put that aside and show you the watch now in more detail. So guys, what we have here is the Audaz Bronzmatic automatic dive watch here. ADZ-2065-03 is the model. So 03 is for this green variation. There are of course going to be a number of other color variations on the website, and you can check it out if you wish to see the other colorways available. The MSRP that they are going for is 575 USD. So yes, it is on the costly side. I suspect that intermittently they will go on sale. So keep your eyes out for either, you know, sale codes, discount codes, or whatever else that I will be offering you guys in the description below. So guys, let's just talk about the movement first up here. So the movement is the Seiko NH35A, well-known movement, a movement you've seen many times before. I'm not going to read out the specs, of course, but I will say that this is reasonably regulated. It's running slightly slow. In the week that I've had this, it's running about -6 seconds per day. In this case, the quick set date is featured on the date window at the 3 o'clock position. You can see there, black writing on white disc on the frame window. So, you know, pretty well done, and nothing much more I'm going to say about the movement here. Okay, so let's just talk about the case now. The case is 42mm diameter. The bezel is actually slightly wider than the case. Hopefully you can appreciate that. On the side profile here, the bezel is actually measuring at 43mm. This material is CU SN8 bronze, so copper tin 8%. So I'm not an expert on metallurgy, but I understand that the 8% refers to the copper percentage, and CuSN8 is, I gather, the most desirable alloy of bronze because it is actually marine grade and it offers the highest corrosion resistance, in my understanding. But if you guys know more about bronze than I do, please let me know. The thickness of this piece is 15.5mm to the top of the glass there, 22mm lug width, with a lug-to-lug distance between my thumbs of 51mm, which is pretty reasonable for a watch of this size, pretty standard I would say. Overall weight, because it's on rubber straps here, is only 121 grams, so it's relatively light as far as overall watches go, but you know, there's some substantial weight on the case, so it does feel somewhat top heavy on the wrist, if you will. Okay, talk about finishing then. The finishing here is a fully brush case. So the top surfaces of the lugs, hopefully it comes out, is circular brushing, as is the bottom of the case, right? The brushing is circular, and the side is actually longitudinal. So that's the kind of transitions that you can appreciate on this particular case here. The case back, on the other hand, is not brushed. It's actually fully sandblasted finish with that submarine Bronzmatic theme there. Interestingly, this isn't actually a bronze caseback, and I was a bit worried about that at first, because bronze, if you have that in prolonged contact with your skin, it may discolor your skin. So this is in fact PVD coated solid steel caseback, right? Stainless steel rather than bronze. Okay, so that's really what that is. So screw down solid steel caseback and screw down sign crown, right, with that Audaz logo there. The water resistance rating of this watch is 200 meters. Okay, let's talk about the dial now. So the dial here, right, you can see as the light plays on it, is of course a green sunburst. That's what we're having here. It's got printed details, so printed brand there, and then details over the 6 o'clock marker you can see there, as well as printed chapter ring around the periphery. It's got applied indices, so 11 applied indices around the periphery, minus the 3 o'clock position where there is actually an applied date window. The indices filled with lume, and then of course you got the hour and minute hands, which are also filled with lume. The hour hand is in brushed finishing in an arrow, and then you got a baton style for the minute hand, and a simple stick, more of a simple stick for the seconds hand here. Lume wise, it is loomed on the 2 main hands, as well as the indices and the full bezel. The second hand, unfortunately, actually doesn't have a lume pip, so that kind of precludes it from full dive capability if you want to go by ISO requirements here. Okay, surrounding the dial is a 120 click unidirectional dive style bezel with an insert, which in this case is black and is actually ceramic, polished ceramic. Okay, it's got full lume as you've seen in the lume shot, and let's just hear how it sounds now. 10 clicks. 10 clicks. Okay, so 20 clicks there, 120 click unidirectional dive style bezel is really what we're getting here. Okay, let's just get it back to the 12 o'clock position here. Okay, and then on top of the dial is a dome sapphire. It's fairly reflective on the top. I believe they do have some AR treatment on the bottom, but overall it's actually fairly reflective. You can see the light playing on it, but you know, it's contiguous with the side. I like how they've done the profile of this crystal here. Okay, that's the watch then, guys. So let's talk about the strap. So the strap here is silicone rubber. So at the bottom you can see it's silicone rubber, but it has this piece of leather which is stitched on top. It's crocodile pattern, but of course it's just a thin piece of leather that's been stitched on top and dyed in green color. That's really what you're getting here. The buckle, all right, is of course going to be bronze color. They haven't said whether it's stainless steel or bronze. I imagine it's actually bronze, but it's a brush finish to match the case with the Audaz logo there. Okay, so that's the entire description of the watch. Let's just put it on for a wrist shot for you guys now. And there we have it, guys, the Audaz Bronzmatic automatic dive watch on my 17 centimeter wrist, right? Fairly sizable, you know, remember it's 43 millimeters on the bezel, 42 on the case, and then that case height is, lug to lug height is 51 millimeters, so it is actually borderline all right for me, probably slightly too large if I was to be honest here, but that's how it looks like on the wrist. So guys, that's the watch. What have I enjoyed about it? Well, look, I think this is a fairly well-spec'd package, right? You know, it's got that Seiko movement, it's got sapphire crystal, it's got fairly nice ceramic insert, and it's got CU SN8 bronze, which I understand it is more costly than other bronze compounds or alloys. So it's the highest grade bronze or the most desirable compound that you want to make a watch out of. It's got that full 200 meter water resistance rating. The strap is pretty nice, right? I'm not sure how expensive or not this is, but the rubber is not bad. It's not the most supple rubber that I've seen, but it's actually not bad. It's perfectly comfortable. And then the green with the green dial kind of, you know, I think this is a pretty cool look. It has been quite an enjoyable look, and it's relatively muted. I like that it's muted colors. It's not too bright, not crazy neon green. So it's been a fairly good looking piece that I've enjoyed wearing around. What are the concerns? Well, look, I think again, with dive watches, I think it's very hard to be fully original. So there are many generic aspects of this watch, right? I mean, none of these, you know, design elements you would not have seen before. You've seen similar things done over and over again in many dive watches, particularly the case. You know, the case really, I think, is the most generic bit of all. It doesn't actually push any boundaries of design. But, you know, having said that, this is the first full bronze watch that I featured on the channel. So it's got that going for it. It's a bronze material which patinas with time, and which is part of the reason why people may consider getting a bronze watch, is that developing patina over time. At this price range, you know, other concerns I have about this, you might be expecting something more, right? For 575 USD, you know, perhaps more unique design elements are, you know, on the cards for some other brands you may have seen. And then the movement is the Seiko. What you may expect some brands at around the close to 600 mark, they will be starting to offer Swiss movement. So that's the competition that this is up against. But, you know, with that bronze, does that actually, you know, bring it up to par with others? Let me know what you think. You know, I don't really have much experience with bronze watches. First one I featured on the channel, so let me know your experiences if you are knowledgeable about, you know, this part of the industry. So guys, there we go. Those are my thoughts about this watch. Let's flip the camera around now for the wrap up. So there you go, guys, my review of the Audaz Bronzmatic in green. I think there are some strengths about this watch, particularly in that high grade bronze that they use. But I think there are also a number of concerns and limitations which I fear may limit the success of this watch. But, you know, I'd be keen to see how they do, and I certainly wish them all the best. Let me know what you think in the comments below, particularly if you have any experience with Audaz, if you own any of their pieces. Would love to hear your thoughts. Guys, if you enjoy my videos, do consider subscribing. I put out new content every week, always aiming to be objective and unbiased about all things horology. Thank you again for sticking with me, and as always, I'll catch you guys again next time.